you're not here to talk about or listen to what I'm doing on a video game. You're actually probably here to listen to me talk about someone who in real life this past year made football look like a video game. That was Jayden Daniels. Listen, I said this last night. I'm going to repeat it. If you don't like it, get over it. To me, Jayden Daniels is by far, without question, the best quarterback in this year's draft. I understand that a lot of people like Caleb. That is fine. I have my reasons for thinking that he should not be the number one overall pick. It's just for me, and I will continue to say this, there's not another quarterback or another player at LSU that I have seen that has been more critiqued, more looked at in a negative light more than Jayden Daniels. Guys, today, if you want to even know the character of the young man, look at the jersey and the long sleeve that he wore for a teammate that was injured and battling brain cancer in Greg Brooks. The young man is just on a different playing field than everybody else. Mentally, physically, I think that he is. No one can run like him. I have told you my comp to him is someone that is a better throwing, a more accurate throwing Lamar Jackson. That's who I think that you're getting. I think you're getting a more polished thrower, more polished throwing Lamar Jackson. It's not – Lamar Jackson's a two-time MVP. The Ruffino's rants comes into play when I see NFL guys who, by the way, that I just don't – I don't – like mentally I can't comprehend them. I love them. I do a podcast with one of them. That is exploding. I just don't understand the nitpicking. Jayden Daniels missed 4 passes today. The 3 passes that he missed was to a guy he never had thrown a football to a day in his life, in C.J. Daniels. Oh, by the way, he missed Malik Nabers on a hitch route. Oh, and his first throw. Okay. We've seen Jayden Daniels have slow starts in the past. We saw it a lot last season, and once he got warmed up and get to going, like the cool Cali kid that he is, that nickname, he is otherworldly. See, with a guy like Jayden, what you have to do is you cannot look completely and solely and only at what he does with his arm. Even though I thought today, even in the 65-yard pass that he threw to Chris Hilton Jr. in the back of the end zone was beautiful, and I think he's one of the better throwing quarterbacks in this draft. He could be equal to all of those guys. He could be somewhat equal to Caleb Williams. He could be somewhat equal to Drake May. Maybe they have a little bit better arm, but Jayden's more accurate. Debate that all you want. But considering the fact that you can make the argument that he's up there with them throwing the football while being able to run the way that he does is what separates him from everybody else. Quite frankly, it's what separated him in 2022. By the way, you won the SEC West that year, is because I just don't think people understand how critical it can be, how amazing that it is, that even though, yes, he's not doing what you like, throw the ball down the field, he's running the ball down the field and making the most electrifying plays that we've seen. Guys, there in the last decade, even more in the decade, I will say in the last 15 years so that I can get 2011 in here with this comparison. Tyrann Mathieu might be the most electrifying player, not named Joe Burrow, but just outright electrifying that we've seen at LSU. Guys, there's multiple plays that Jayden Daniels made from a running standpoint, stopping on a dime, cutting, the Florida game, running for 85 yards. He will always be, forever, the legacy will be, is that Jayden Daniels at a place like LSU that over the last 2 decades is second in national championships behind Alabama. He is up there with being one of, if not the most electrifying. Now, like I've told you, the guy behind me remains at number 1. It's not a slight at Jayden. There are lots of me that think that you could go 1A and 1B in a lot of those scenarios too. But I continue to see something, and it bothers me. Guys, it legitimately bothers me as an LSU fan, as an LSU guy, that why can't you see and appreciate and think it is special to see Jayden Daniels do what he did, where you have just so many people putting down on him? Guys, of 2 viral tweets went out today, both of them negative about Jayden Daniels. Now, a lot went out that was positive. I'm not saying that there's not. I could not be a general manager of an NFL team and say to myself, even on the field, that I pass up Jayden Daniels when the MVP of the National Football League last year was Lamar Jackson. If you're going to compare them, you can't pass on him. By the way, I think he's a better decision maker and a better thrower than the reigning, defending National Football League MVP. We overcomplicate things, man. In football and sports, we overcomplicate it. You know, I made this comparison last night. Do you want a guy that colors his nails pink, has a pink phone case, and wears pink lip gloss? Or do you want a guy that went to 2 very difficult situations and prospered? But like, what about his teammates throwing all this shit in a trash bag? You mean 2 guys, or at least one that I know of, that got kicked off of LSU's team for being a very crap human? By the way, came after my son on social media in the DMs, that was trashing his locker. Best player in this year's draft, I don't think it's remotely close. Let's talk about the rest of LSU Pro Day because it was massive. Man, Malik Nabers, what a day. Talk about making yourself generational money in one day. A broad jump of 10.9. Guys, that's elite. That's elite track stuff. By the way, he's a football player. A 42-inch vert running a 4.35 40. I know you're going to say I'm biased. I think he's the best receiver in this class. I think if you would have, you know what's crazy, you could make a comparison. 1,000% could make a comparison. In 2019, or we should probably say the 2020 draft, there was 2 guys that came out of LSU. One was Joe Burrow, who went 1 overall, and then Justin Jefferson, who went into the 20s. I don't think that NFL teams are going to make the same mistake again and teams just ultimately passing on Malik Nabers. I think no matter what he does, he's in the top 10, barring that he does something stupid. Just stay at home, play Xbox, hire you a chef. Hell, I'll pay for it if you need it. Pay, and you can pay me back when you get your contract. I'll pay a chef. Stay at home. Don't get into anything. Don't go to New Orleans on Mardi Gras, my guy. Okay? But I just think he's the best receiver in the league. It's interesting. He's got better numbers than Marv. And what people say is Marv is 6'4", and he's got the name, he's got the bloodline. That's fine. That's fine. I just don't think he did it in a better conference. I don't think he did it against better competition. I do think that there's a lot of this that if you take size out of it, which you can't really do, but if you did, from an athlete to athlete perspective, anything that Marvin Harrison Jr. can do, Malik can do just as well, if not better. And I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. could line up right now in a 40-yard dash and win a 4.35. There are parts of me that believe that Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't test because he might not test well. I mean, I've never seen a player this scared of competition. Oh, he just wants to focus for his team, and he wants to focus for the new team that he's going to. No, I don't think he would have tested better than Malik Nabers. I think it's a strategy. I 100% believe it's a strategy, or he's injured. Or he had surgery. Nobody will admit it. Nobody wants to talk about it because they want to keep it secret, hush, hush. Or he had a surgery and nobody wants to talk about it. Remember, your boy said that. Remember Blake Ruffino on March 27th, the year of our Lord 2024. Remember, I said that. Something's off with that. I don't think that his dad would allow him not to compete if he was 1,000% healthy. I don't believe it. So basically what I'm telling you here is, does Blake Ruffino call bullshit? You're damn right I call bullshit. Wasn't the only people at the LSU Pro Day today. I thought that there were a couple guys. I thought even Omar Spates, who needed a big pro day, had one. I think that even Makai Wingo, Charles Turner, even being there, I think that's great for them. Guys, I just don't think that Maason Smith I think he had another really bad day. 21 reps on the bench at 225. It's not good enough. Guys, by the way, just so we're throwing this out there, that's only 6 more than Malik Nabers. 6. Malik Nabers had 15. 6 for Maason Smith. Mason's going to get drafted. I do think that he'll be a 3rd, 4th round pick. I don't think he can get into the 2nd. He's got high potential. Maybe even can go into the 2nd. I don't know.